Hello and welcome to this lecture. Today we are going to discuss the drug that stimulate the motility, and we will discuss the case. In this case, a white man in his 40s present as an outpatient for an elective endoscopic sinus surgical procedure, and that procedure actually is used for widening of the sinuses or to reduce the blockage of the sinuses. Patient past medical history include chronic sinusitis, hypertension, and then the important thing is that it having occasional gastroesophageal reflux and obesity. His body mass index is calculated as 34. The patient having no allergy and is using only the medication was angiotensin converting enzyme inhibitor. And if you remember the physiology and somehow some of the pathology, we have discussed that there is the system which is known as renin angiotensin aldosterone system, which is responsible for maintaining the blood pressure. But if the aldosterone enzyme is secreting high, then what happens? We have to reduce the aldosterone or the system such as renin angiotensin aldosterone system. So we block so we give the drugs to block that system through angiotensin converting enzyme. We will discuss in detail in our upcoming lectures in hypertension. So I'm just going to revise you that the role of, and you must know the role of angiotensin and why a person is taking this drug, because we discussed that he is having the hypertension. So we know that he is hypertensive. We know that he has having gastroesophageal reflux disease. So what happened? The past surgical histories, including several previous general anesthesias without any complication or adverse effects, that is okay. Then pre-operative laboratory tests include a complete blood count and a metabolic profile. The laboratory values are normal within the normal range, with the exception of slightly elevated blood glucose level. Based on the patient BMI, and occasional gastric reflux, the pharmacological pulmonary aspiration, or we can say the prophylaxis, was ordered, and the prophylactic drug is 10 milligram of metoclopramide and 20 milligram of famotidine. Why we give prophylactic? Number one reason is that if you take a look on the problems he is having the gastroesophageal reflux disease. He already have this disease. So in this case, that we need to see that we have to avoid that problem as well. So actually, why we give metoclopramide? Actually, metoclopramide is dopamine 2 receptor antagonist. It is dopamine 2 receptor antagonist. So we will discuss in our upcoming that how can this case we will handle. So this is a picture of sinus surgery, and there may be swollen and infected tissues around the nasal passages, and we need to widening that nasal passages. So, and we need to remove the growths such as polyps, and that is why we are doing this surgery. And but because of the patient having gastroesophageal reflux disease, we give as prophylactic metoclopramide. And we mentioned that based upon patient BMI and occasional gastric reflux, this is the main thing. We are giving this drug. So what is metoclopramide and domperidone? These two are D2 receptor blockers actually, and they are inhibiting the dopamine receptors, D2 receptors, and inhibit the cholinergic smooth muscle stimulation. And it is used for gastroesophageal reflux disease. And if a patient having impaired gastric emptying, it is used. And it is also used for indigestion, dyspepsia, non-ulcerated. So that is very important, that if a person is not having any ulcer, but having dyspepsia, then it is used for that. And we already discussed that gastroesophageal reflux disease is a disease where the esophageal opening, the esophageal valve is not working properly. If we take a look of my previous pictures, we already mentioned that lower esophageal sphincter is not working, and that result in the reflux of the acid secretions. So if a patient is having GERD or a patient having impaired gastric emptying, we give this drug. And it is also used for the prevention of vomiting. Why? Because it is dopamine receptor antagonist, and the function of the blockage of D2 receptor is helping to prevent vomiting as well. It is also used for postpartum lactation stimulation. It means it can help to increase the milk production, especially after the birth, after the delivery of the baby. And drug is also improve the gastric emptying, and it is which is responsible for helping gastroparesis and post-surgical gastric emptying delay as well. So the drug which is using is metoclopramide, and metoclopramide is used for prophylaxis, especially in this case that we discuss, or in the case we can discuss in chemotherapy induced nausea and vomiting. As we know that it is also helpful in reducing the nausea and vomiting, so it can be used as prophylaxis in chemotherapy. A dose that is prescribed is around 2 to 4 milligram per kg as a loading dose with continuous infusion for 15 to 20 minutes, along with the maintenance dose of 3 to 5 milligram per kg over 8 to 12 hours. So the main use, it is also used for prophylaxis of post-operative nausea and vomiting. It is also used for gastroesophageal reflux disease. Depending upon the severity of the disease, the dose will be prescribed. Usually for adults, it is 10 to 15 milligrams up to 4 times daily, given 30 minutes before each meal and at bedtime. For elderly, the dose is around 5 milligram up to 4 times daily, with the maximum dose can be given is 60 milligram daily. Then we have domperidone, which is also dopamine receptor antagonist, and it is also used for the treatment of acute treatment of nausea and vomiting. And the dose prescribed is 10 milligram up to 3 times daily. We have some toxicities related to these drugs. Number one, which is most important, is the extrapyramidal effects, which is dystoniasis and Parkinson effects. Why? Because it is a D2 receptor blocker. So what actually doing? We know that dopamine receptor, if we block the dopamine receptor, it will be a decrease of the dopamine level. So the decrease of the dopamine level is responsible for the Parkinson-like effect, because in Parkinson we know that there is a decrease of the dopamine level in Parkinson. So the effects, which is extrapyramidal effects, it will appear because of the reduce of the dopamine secretion. Then the other thing they mention is restlessness, drowsiness, insomnia, anxiety, and agitation. So thank you so much for today's lecture. Hope to see you again.